team like Envious Academy or even Epsilon, where if they claim that spot, you could have a first round draw for Endpoint of Reason versus Endpoint and a potential, premature final. You don't want that scenario. If you're Endpoint, if you're a UK fan, you need this team to go forward into the finals as a bare minimum to really put our mark down across the international border.
Well, let's see what they can do. Obviously, Prophecy, it's a team that hasn't really impressed or surprised us at all during the season. We looked at it when it was picked up, obviously, as the new Prophecy roster to represent them. The previous Prophecy team taking second place in Season 1. And this roster just couldn't get it together. They couldn't find success. It just seemed very slow, very stagnant. Obviously, fielding subs in last week's game as well. So Kamapanga happened to come in. They couldn't get it together. Now back here today. If they have got anything new they're going to bring to the table that we would have seen online, I feel like Endpoint would have caught it early. Jakey obviously known for a lot of the anti-strat, and he does. He would have been able to pick that up. And I think if there was any research that had changed, they're going to be aware about its nonsense. We do get into the action.
We do indeed. It's going to be the first round of match number 2 of the day. Endpoint, the hometown heroes, essentially, right now confessed as the best UK team. Let's see if NK can try to topple that.
Oh, NK going to go for the initial peek. We'll get one as Thomas falls, but the in-game leader will trade it back as he actually finds that headshot. The push coming through as well as they swiftly make their way up long to try and focus their firepower towards this A bomb site. There is 3 players close grouped up from that CT side though. And Endpoint looking like they are going to be going for a little bit of a play here, backtracking towards close B as Max has got the angle covered.
Not only the angle covered, Jack, but also the utility as well. Can smoke out towards center site, flash over from Monster if the players come towards short. You can see the bomb as well. Currently at the back of him, he could be rejoining the ranks towards T-spawn. Another call must be made. 4 versus 4, do you restructure, hit back towards the B bomb site, go from B short, Monster, as it seems extremely likely. The smoke could go towards bridge, towards heaven, or towards center site, as we are about to find out as the smoke will land towards heaven, I imagine. This is not on the screen.
So they do push their way through. So Zek from the back lines of the site actually peeking through. He's trying to get these pot shots off. Stanley is peeking towards him, quite an aggressive angle being taken, but Stanley can actually go huge off the back of this, especially when they flash over, but Rocking finds the kill. We know Rocking is that huge impact fragger on the side of Prophecy. He's the one that's going to have to grab them and carry them through by their coattails if they want to achieve too much. Max will be a bit of a cheeky play as he holds the Max angle, finds the kill. Ready for the second as well as he taps him down. Gecko is so low in this 1v2. Imi and Max, the deadly duo that have been together for years, do find that kill. They take him down. They get that opening round on the board.
Exactly. What's left of the trio is going to lose a scenario like that. Clean, clinical, 2 versus 3. You saw the bomb goes down. Max is such a good after-plant position playing towards the headshot angle in water. It's so difficult for the CT side to retake when you have T's in that position where if Max shoots, takes contact, or if someone baits for him towards Pillar, he can shoot from the side of the head. When he found the kill onto NK, you saw NK was challenging Imi towards Monster, towards Pillar. And having that second angle as well to peek into him, it is so difficult. Flashbang goes out towards middle, tries to effect that they're taking control towards the A side, but actually, the real play from Endpoint going to be conceding and accumulating towards B, as they do all line up outside Monster, ready to line up the Molotovs, the flashes, and send Fasher and Stanley in first, the MAC-10s to rack up the cash with the submachine guns and swarm over the speed bomb site.
Pushing their way through, Rocking going to get forced out of position. The Molotov actually misses from the side of Endpoint, but nevertheless, kills coming through, but in favor of Prophecy. Zek takes down Fasher, Thomas will retaliate, but Gecko and Zek come back through. And it's up to Stanley here as he goes for the aggressive play. He needs to get these frags to actually equalize the situation. Goes back into a 2v2, it's winnable, but Stanley is firing through. Is he alert and aware of the location of NK though as he's pushing back in? He's got a deagle, he's got the range to play with. Stanley, unsure of his locations, nods. This could be his downfall as NK lands the shot with a deagle. A cheeky round as they do bring it back, equalizing it at 1-1. The reset coming through.
Yeah, Prophecy right now getting the money's worth for the final match of the season. Screaming across the arena, trying to get fired up for this final match they're going to be playing here on the stage. So far, it's going to be round number 3, 1-1 as Prophecy win the force by backwards. And you would expect that as well, especially when Endpoint have the set play towards the B-bomb side, the Molotovs, the smokes, the flashbangs, the MAC-10s going first. Stanley finds so many kills towards the site, towards water. We're left in that 2 versus 2 scenario where NK just delivers hell for Endpoint with that devastating deagle. Nevertheless, though, still going to be round number 3, 1 minute 30 left on the clock, and Gecko and Co take control of B water. They clear our connector. They're anticipating a play towards Monster or towards aforementioned A bomb site.
Slowly, steady as they make their approach through. Obviously, just scoping out towards close toilets right now, seeing what map control has been taken by Prophecy. Actually playing very lax, no real information plays. They're not holding any close angles. They have kept it quite far back and given distance into the round.
Exactly, Prophecy playing very far back versus the Pistols. Obviously don't want to get close range versus the CZs. The only issue with this is, we saw Infused do it where they played too passive, too scared. They allowed the Pistols to push onto the site. You do need to peek, shoot them while they're at range.
Oh, Gecko though. This is where he really has the upper hand in this scenario. Stanley needs to take him down really. Max as well has the potential, but he's quite far back. Gecko with this SMG can really wreak havoc upon them as he finds the opening headshot, wants the second, but Max shuts down. Luckily, Fasher with the entry as well. So this is where it is all to play for. NK on the close angle will find that kill on Max. Is able to flick around, find the headshot on Thomas as well. It's lunacy that he's actually got away with that second frag. This has really put a downer on things and made it a lot harder for the side of Endpoint as they do want to try it and claw it back here and force the reset on Prophecy. Imi with the first kill with the Galil and the follow-up frag on Rocking, who was unaware of their location. Endpoint do get that round. They reset that CT side economy, leaving them weak and very easy to overwhelm into this following round.
That's for the 4 spies so far on this second matchup here, Jack. Issue going forward for Prophecy is, we already know this one, the money is so much more fragile for the CT side defense going forward. If they do lose versus or concede rounds versus the 4 spies, their money isn't so stable where they can instantly invest into Galil's, CZ's utility to go for the executions, to go for the slow plays we saw Endpoint just do, where you had 2 Galils onto Imi, another player as well. So, obviously, for the side of Prophecy, you're looking at what, $1,500 per player. What can you really invest into that? If they want to go for another counter 4 spy, it's a big risk to take. Going forward, if you invest all your money into the 4 spies, into the buy rounds, you're going to be lacking AWPs, you're going to be lacking utility, defuse kits. Again, drawing back to the first matchup we saw today, where Infused were going into these buy rounds, they're investing and purchasing weaponry where they didn't have the grenades to back it up, right? They were lacking the Molotovs that we saw towards the B control.
Yeah.
They had smokes, they had some flashbangs, but not quite enough, as I believe we are seeing a technical timeout coming out from the side of Prophecy.
Yeah, seems like they've come over to check an issue over on the Endpoint side PCs as well, so I imagine we'll get that sorted and be straight back into the action fairly swiftly as we will try and continue on with this one. For that side of Prophecy as well, though, that's the scary factor, is if you do win that upset round and actually bring yourself back into it, you open yourself up to a really horrible spot if you get reset. That's where the economy is left in such a situation where you cannot grow, you have no buy into that round, you can't really get yourself back into a favorable point for quite a while. This is where Endpoint should actually be able to rack up a fair bit of a lead.
They should indeed. And the thing is as well, talking of, you know, how many rounds that Prophecy have been able to gain, they had their 16-12 versus Infused last week on Nuke. And that was, sorry, that was Cobblestone, not Nuke. I'm reading this one wrong. And that was one of their 2 points as well. They had the win versus Excel. So 3 points plus the 1 point they gained versus Infused. That's 4 points. You got teams already, you see Reason at 19, Endpoint already on 14, looking to make that 17. You can see how big of a contrast there is, just looking at the teams in terms of how their regular seasons have gone, right? Endpoint on 14, Prophecy on 4. That's a massive stark contrast between the 2 lineups, where Prophecy was the former finalists. They finished second. They got that silver medal.
Yeah.
They got a big paycheck as well. Bring in the new roster, right? You change things like you're trying to claim that first place position where you switch half of the core from ex-Outlaws, the best Bulgarian team, which is now Windigo, which we cast at the EU minor. It's actually quite a good contrast point as well, the fact that we were casting the other half of this Bulgarian roster at the European minor. And the other half are currently 8th in Season 2 of the Elite Series, where they have no chance to make it to the playoffs. So you can see the real difference in where those paths have gone.
It's true. Obviously, it was more of a gamble to see which side would do well after they did split, but looking like Windigo definitely were able to take the superior ground there. As we do go through this pause as well, obviously, before we jump back in. I think downside to this is, actually, Endpoint are a team that play quite a lot of momentum. They do get rolled up quite quickly. And this is why if you slow them down for a while, are we going to see Max and Stanley maybe not be as impactful if they are actually quite tepid off as the game starts to go through?
I think Fasher's more of a momentum-based player than a player like Max. Would you agree?
I think in certain situations, I feel like with Fasher, though, he's more calm in a lot of scenarios. It seems like he always actually keeps his consistency. Yeah, true. I'm drawing back to that matchup on Inferno, if you remember, on Excel, where Fasher was having such a quiet game. I was pointing it out, oh, Fasher's only on 5 kills, whatnot. Then he had that massive round of the CZ, and then for the rest of the game, he pretty much carried on Inferno versus Excel. Week 3, I believe that was. Maybe that's what it is. You just need that one catalyst to set him off in a lot of those scenarios, because he is very aggressive when he starts to play in his own style. Yeah,
exactly. And obviously, confidence, aggression go hand in hand going forward. So it's important to get those impactful kills on your momentum-based players, your aggressive players. We spoke about how important it was last matchup as well for Infuse to have that for Link, one of the star players. Exact same scenario can be drawn from that in regards to Fasha. But going forward for Endpoint, they're the ones now where it's all in their ballpark. They've won versus with their force, but they won versus the buy from the Bulgarian side. They now have the upper hands, the higher odds going forward. They can win versus the next force buy, force out an eco. At that point, we're looking at what? It's 2-1 now, 3-1, then 4-1. And then going forward into the buy rounds, it puts a lot more pressure for Prophecy.
Well, we have to wait and see how it goes. It seems like I imagine we'll be getting back into the action shortly to continue on here. Obviously on Overpass right now. Prophecy over on that CT side, struggling to get together one round as they did upset against Endpoint, winning the opening pistol. The rebuys will be coming through, but they are fully investing into this.
What's interesting as well from Endpoint is this time they're not buying up 3 SMGs. Before we had a UMP, 2 MAC-10s and 2 rifles. Now it's going to be 3 rifles instead of 2. The reason being is after what happened in the last round, they want more firepower going forward. They don't want to be taking any risks, any chances, versus the force by the Bulgarian side has currently put up.
I like this little default opener as well. Just play with a group here, play with a range advantage, sit back, actually hold play for the trade. So if they do go for an information play like NK has done, if he overextended and wanted to try and get in deep, they would have been able to take him down. But he falls back. They're not going to get the info from that. We do see Stanley lurking towards outside B as well, as finally Endpoint start to make their move.
1 minute 15 left on the clock. Prophecy go towards one of their spot, no players, and that's going to trigger a stack towards the B bomb site potentially. You can see NK is going to be rejoining the ranks towards the B bomb site, but actually the real hit from Endpoint is towards the A site. Very thought up round coming from Imi. Well played as he basically wins the game of chess so far.
Pushing their way through. Fasher on the close. I'm going to spam through, see if he can actually take him down as he knows this push is coming in. Nice counter boost as well. NK up top will be able to strike against Mighty Max and actually eliminate him. Very, very effective kill into the way this one is actually developing. You do have the crossfire as well with Amy and Stanley, so they can hold for these 2 players trying to backstab. Fasher does damage with his AK as he rips his way through 3 of them on the site as well. That's incredible stuff. It's all up to Rocking. He will strike against Stanley. Upgrade gets the follow-up frag as well as he takes down Imi. It's a 1v1 into this round. Time's ticking away. It's unlikely he can do anything. He has to try and retreat. And Fasher, off the back of a 3K into that round, will be able to pick up the victory.
Massive hat-trick of frags there from the Dutchman as he secures that A-bomb, so secures round number 3. It's going to go 3-1 into round number 4. And you saw there, one of the pistol rounds that we see sometimes coming out from Endpoint on a map like Overpass. Initially it was from SK, where, I don't know if you remember this one, Jack. It was ECS finals in London, where Shox had that crazy 4K where SK were waiting at the steps towards above Underpass. They pushed up and then Shox had the crazy 3-1 taps, if you remember it. Do you remember or not?
I think so.
It was about 2 years ago. It was a massive play, but ever since then, teams tried to copy that where on the pistol rounds, they wait until about 1 minute 45 and then they push. And exactly the same happened there. Endpoint show no presence towards A, and then they push as a unit, catches Prophecy off guard.
Ooh. Max looking a bit shaky there, not as clean and clinical as he usually is. Luckily, Imi can try and bring it back. It's still it's just a 1v2 now, as Fasher has to do it essentially all on his lonesome, as he's stuck here in this awkward spot. If he can try and take these 1v1 firefights, he should be able to win it out. He's just got to play with range, though. These Deagles, if they peek together, Snods, with a 3-2-1 face, they will surely overpower him. There's the initial frag coming through, though. He lands it, takes him down. It's constant reset warfare right now.
It is, and again, towards the B bomb site, it seems like when Prophecy are hunkered down, entrenched in towards the B bomb, so they have such good positions, right? They have angles where Endpoint are walking into the crossfires that have been set up from the Bulgarians, and you saw Rockin there with the save. Gillo finds 2 massive crucial frags from barrels. He crouches down, he waits for Endpoint to push it. There's no Molotov towards barrels, which you could argue is fairly common.
I feel like Sense to sort of touch on as well, even though it's early days. Thomas is someone that I feel like, for me, gets a lot of kills into those eco rounds. Very aggressive against anti-ecos. He likes to run in and gun, likes to try and be the front man. Quiet so far.
Playing rather reserved, usually versus the pistols, as you said. He loves hunting for the stats and trying to get the advantage versus the pistols, but unfortunately, so far been playing rather timid as the push comes in towards the A-bomb site. Still a good buy coming in for Endpoint, but it goes 1-for-1 early on.
Luckily, Fasher surviving in that situation as Thomas does go down. Let's see if he can continue his rampage. He is armed. Stanley as well coming through with a double. Now they start to get some hype behind them. This is where they're in a high-octane situation. Fasher being spammed upon, but still landing those beautiful headshots as he takes down Rocking. And it's all on Zek in a 1v4. Miles away from the action, just needs to save. That is going to be Endpoint resetting them once more, bouncing back in with that 4th round.
And there you have it, 4-2. Once again, we're seeing a 4th reset. And a fourth force buy win coming on the cards. Only 6 rounds being played out, Jack. This has been a very heated matchup so far, but the problem is you can't push and pull like you can on the T side when you are the CT defense. Their money is going to be shattered once more. They win in a 2 versus 1 versus fashion the last round. They invest with the money they have, and that's going to be set right back down. And with the reset coming in terms of the money, if you are Prophecy, will they invest once again into the Deagles, into the CZs? They have saved 1 weapon, I believe. I think it was an M4 from the side of Zek. And a kid as well, so there's still hope, there is still a chance. But no, they've actually learned from their lessons, Jack. I said before, at what point is a team going to start conceding these rounds and play a bit more cautious and try to set up the rest of the half instead of, purely putting your money into the rounds instantly. Invest into the later halves.
That's the thing. You can get yourself into a scenario where, sure, you can try and go for these reset buys, try and buy back into the game and see how far you can take it. Occasionally, you can force teams to break under that pressure if they don't expect it, but you basically can ruin yourself as well. Especially that CT side economy, it's not as easy to go for constant force buys. You get left with no cash, you cannot get any investment there, and it just doesn't work out. Right now, the Endpoint looking like they're going for a very strategical play set up towards the A site. They do have tons of utility as well, so I hope we see that used correctly.
Going back to what worked last time, the A-bomb side is already Fasher finds the first.
Yep, ferocious entries coming out from the man himself as he doubles it up. He's hungry for these kills as he's pushing through, slaying all the way on the eco. Imi as well with a headshot back on towards Zek. Thomas going to take one down. There's Mac for the final kill on Gecko. And Endpoint get that round a lot cleaner this time. Looking like they're starting to get their heads together.
And by clean, 4 or 5 players, it's actually 5 players staying alive. And when 5 players stay alive in one of these rounds, it means no one has to be dropped, no one has to rebuy their Kevlar, has to rebuy their armor, rebuy their grenades. And it means the money can start to swell, start to blossom and bloom to a point where Endpoint can afford rebuys even if Prophecy are winning some of these buy rounds. We could be seeing the exact same scenario as well, where Prophecy are forced onto a second eco, as it will be Kevlar bought for 3 players. CZ coming from Rocking, Deagle again from NK, had so much success. Understandable is going for the reinvestment, and Thomas, again a player that's so good versus the pistols, goes down once again. It's going to be the 5 versus 4, but then again, you still favor Endpoint here. They have the firepower and the Kevlar and the utility advantage.
Thomas not looking alert right now at all. Zek as well, it's a bit of a cheeky angle, but you take him down as he's surfing against the wall. Fasher and Stanley come through. Fasher with a double entry once more. He's been very effective on these ecos. He'll find those heads, take them down immediately, actually clear out the site, leaving it just on NK. I was going to say Ming, who's now dead, actually taken out by Imi from behind, so it's all up to NK here. He can get 1 frag on Imi if he plays his cards right, but that's basically going to be it. A bit of silver lining towards the end of the round. No chance of him to actually go on to clutch this out.
Best hope here for NK is just to try and find that body shot onto Imi is low, so 1 shot from the Deagle will take him down. Try salvage the AK into the next round, save yourself $3,100, invest it into, dropping, you could drop an AWP as well if he does get that one. They're going to get 2.4k. So we will have $6,000 into the next round. We could be seeing a double-up setup coming up from Prophecy.
Well, they peek round him. He goes down. Max as well, trying to fight through, but Max, off the back of a lucky headshot, NK does eliminate him, grabs the AK, and he starts to slay as well as he takes down Fasher, ready for another frag. They all offer themselves up 1 by 1 as they now have to go for 4 rebuys off the back of that round. They do still get the round win, sure, but that is not the way you want it to go.
Trying to destroy the money from Prophecy, ironically backfired, and NK, the star player from the Bulgarian side, really put his foot down versus Endpoint. 1 versus 4, saves the weapons. He knows they have to peek him. They don't want him to save the M4, the AK, sorry. But unfortunately, it definitely backfired.
That's the thing as well, because the cash he made off the back of that play, as you said, the AWP buy now coming through, being dropped over. This is going to be scary. It allows them to play a little bit more dynamic into the round.
Does indeed. Endpoint once again going to be grouping outside B. This is going to be the concept play coming from Stanley.
Stanley needs to find the entry this time around as he knows their location. The Molotov does land as well, but there's the smoke to extinguish it. So it's not actually going to be as impactful as it should have been. Nice HE though, transfers damage back. He's on 50 HP. Imi just going to charge straight in. Wasn't aware, luckily. Thomas is able to return the damage. Finds that kill. Zek, the aggression. He loves to overextend on these plays. It's the right call. Thomas, mid-plant, falls short. It's all up to Max. He can clutch so incredibly well in situations like this, and he does the smart play. Grabs the bomb stealthily. It seems like they have no idea of this as well. Blissfully unaware, Max is able to back off. He's made no noise. Max has keys to win this round, potentially.
Flashbang, no smoke. If he could smoke off the CT stairs, maybe molly them, there's more of a chance here. Eventually, they're going to hear the steps towards the A side, send a rotation in. Or can Max get the bomb down? And suddenly, there's a spark of life for the 1 versus 3 to be potentially on the horizon. He goes for the fake plant. The flash comes in as Ming will go for the challenge. Ooh, if he gives away this kill as well, a 1 versus 2 is a lot easier for Max.
Oh, the unfortunate factor is that Zek, who was smart about it, went through for the lurk play, strikes from behind, takes Max down, so he wasn't even able to get the additional cash for the bomb plant. They do lose that round, and it is still going trade for trade. These rounds so close. Prophecy looking like for once they're actually playing with structure and initiative.
Yeah. Endpoint there, they went for the B plate. Watching back the VODs from IM Oakland, Jack, one of the strats from Optic on Overpass versus G2 was the exact same B execute we saw from Endpoint. There's now a new Molotov where you can throw the molly for barrels while you're walking into Monster, and it basically reduces the time. You know that lag where the grenades come in, then the hit comes in? It reduces that input lag and makes the hit so fast, but not quite fast enough.
Oh, talking about fast though. Fasher goes down incredibly quick into this round as they don't want to allow him to get any momentum at all. They've also got tons of map control. NK pushing in deep is really going to be a sour note for them, and they don't even need him currently. Luckily, Thomas fires back, but Gecko's there for the trade. They're playing such just calm collective CS over on that side of Prophecy. It's looking a whole lot better than they ever have done. As the kills do start to come in, NK trying to spam away as he wants to take down Max, will eliminate him. As it falls all on Stanley in a 1 versus 3. Stan as well has the bomb, but he's been spotted out. NK on the cross actually tags him, so he can't fully cross, has to go back, wants to try and take that firefight as he's aware he needs to try and get the better of him. And NK will overpower him.
4 to 6 now. Only 2 rounds can be separated these 2 teams going forward. Endpoint on the T side, so far looking very sharp. For Prophecy, of your CT side defense, usually you are favoring the CT side defense on a map like Overpass. Expecting what? 9-6s, not even strange or uncommon seeing 8-7s, potentially even 10-5s as well, but usually it falls in the favor of the CT side defense. And already, Endpoint have 9 rounds, which means even if they lose the rest of these rounds, Jack, they can still bring this one back.
Yeah, it's true. Let's see if they can actually try and get some more out of this. Though NK with the early spam, obviously, against the eco, it's easy pickings. A miss coming out from Rockin, so he's given away his position. They can try and play with this angle. Max actually does have HP to work with. Fasher, the deagle in his hand as well. He can be incredibly accurate with this little hand cannon, so you can't ever really count him out. Unfortunately, will be sidelined. Gecko was able to sniff him out and locate him in that scenario, and it's back on Max in a 1 versus 4. Last alive in this situation. More so than anything, if Max can get guns out their hands, it's probably the best case scenario. Winning this round is incredibly unlikely. Max dealing damage though. He knows how to play out these clutch round starts. We've seen that for years. Max is always at home in 1vx scenarios, but he isn't going to clear the site fully. Zek will take him down.
5 to 6. As it will be 2, oh, sorry, should I say 3 rounds now claimed for the side of Prophecy. They win versus the 2 force the full buys from Endpoint. This is one of the things as well I was speaking about, the fact that Endpoint were able to bring up enough money to blossom enough where even if they lose rounds, they can still buy. Prophecy, they made it through the benchmark. They made it through the 2 buy rounds, which Endpoint saved for essentially by having such clean rounds. And now they broke their money. Now we're back into the buy round. So round number 12 now, 5 to 6, 1 round only. As this game is in touching distance, Rockin peeking towards Connector, trying to get some information, see what he can spot early on. But instead, a fast play towards middle. Can it catch NK off guard? He's alone right now as Rockin's towards Connector with the AWP.
Fashion needs to find the entry here. If he can take him down, they can try and turn this one around. Does play around the smoke, charge, but they walk into him, they're not aware. Stanley luckily finds the frag, takes him down, gets them into a mobile spot. They can actually advance now, take control of the site. Max as well. Somehow the timing works out for him as he catches Rocking just as he switches to his sidearm.
Yeah. Prophecy are going to have to save. The A site is completely in control for Endpoint. A fast set play towards middle, well called as well from him. He knows that they're playing very heavy towards the B site. They're playing very heavy towards Connector. He isolates that player. And actually, Rocking doesn't go for the peek towards middle. Falls back towards the back of Connector towards T-Spawn. Leaves NK alone towards the A site. And they basically overpower there. They flash through the smoke. As surprisingly to some players, smokes aren't actually cement walls, Jack.
It's true.
And you can go through them.
Obviously, we do see that a lot. A lot of players just relying on the fact they don't expect anyone to actually go for a smoke push these days, but still coming through. The double kill as well towards the end. Endpoint struggling when they get into these safe situations as they are trying to force the issue. They want to try and get guns out the hands of Prophecy, which is a smart decision. You know their economy's weak, but they are really coming back to bite themselves. They're investing quite a lot into trying to force the issue.
7 to 5. So, as a bare minimum, Endpoint are going to be very happy with this half so far, even if it falls 8 to 7. You've already claimed 7 rounds on your T side, of Overpass, the more difficult side. Going forward as well, if they win this buy round, Jack, it goes 8 to 5. They reset the money again for Prophecy. We could actually be seeing a 9-6 in favor of Endpoint, where the tables are switched around completely.
Well, let's see if that's going to be the case. Rocking as well. This is a prime time position to deal damage. They're going to clear it, but he gets 2. Oh, gets the tag on the foot as well. Stanley only just being able to stay alive. Fights through it. Imi as well with a double kill. Somehow, the in-game leader of the side of Endpoint wakes up, leads by example, gets a double. Stanley as well. Ridiculous he was even able to find that second frag. And now it's just on Zek. A 1v3. Everything is in the favor of Endpoint into this round. They just have to play together.
1 versus 3. Imi, Stanley are both low, as they will be making the 3-man push towards Banana. And will it be poor timing as well? If they clear out toilets here, Jack, and Zek comes from long, toilets comes from behind. If he lines up all 3 of these players at once, this could go very south, extremely fast. But let's see, will the timing be in the favor of Prophecy?
Max holding the rear, but Max goes down. Max was the one with full HP as well. This is not a good spot to be in. This actually makes it a lot harder.
Does indeed, but now Endpoint can play good after plant positions. They can play headshot angles.
Oh, Zek as well running in, trying to bait them out.
He thinks it's B?
He thinks it's B? Looks a bit confused in this clutch situation. Now going to be going back in, really risking it. That explains why he just ran to the side with his knife out as well. Imi peeks up, finds the one tap, and takes him down. Zek, completely confused into the afterplant there.
Very well played there from Endpoint. They're in the 1 versus 3. Max gets taken out from behind. Zek basically telegraphs his position, and then from there they play a very smart 1 versus 2. You saw Imi's crouch behind the headshot angle, so as soon as Stanley takes contact, Imi peeks out. That way, even though Imi is low, he only shows his head.
Yeah.
Also, even though Stanley's low, they're going to go for a crossfire. Both of them are going to be shooting at one target. Very thorough, very well played coming out from the side of Endpoint, and that's what we expect now from the side of Endpoint, where the new additions to the roster, Fasher, and Weber, but also Thomas in this current scenario, and Stanley at the start of the season. This is a much more well-rounded Endpoint where even the clutch scenarios, even early on, they have prowess across the whole of the round.
Yeah, a lot more structure there, a lot more players with different potential between them all. A lot more sort of structure that actually works for this unit, whereas before we see players hitting their heads off each other, it's actually starting to work out. Imi, tagged down low as well. Luckily he does survive, so he won't be actually removed, but there's the nade that will blow him out of the server as the follow-up comes through. Not a great spot to be in now. Looks like they might actually just try and go for a smoke push through into that site. In terms of defense, there is Rock in there as well. HE transfers a fair bit of damage, but Fasher will trade it back, finds the headshot, brings him into a 4v4. Max gives his position away towards mid, but Max actually is going to be such a huge catalyst into the round. He needs to get these kills to stop them coming in from the rear. Didn't spot him out, though.
I think he did spot him. He gives the information, falls back now. Max is such a smart player where he doesn't get overzealous, doesn't overface. Gives the information, now Stanley's clearing toilets. Finds the frag onto Gecko, goes for the second, lines him up as well. 3 versus 2 as actually Max gets caught off guard by the shotgun from Zek.
Yep. Takes him down, big old Papa pump there as he strikes. Ready for more as he will peek round on the close angle. Stanley on just 17 HP. All Stanley has to do essentially is hold, but he goes for the wide face, wanted to risk it. Fasher left in a clutch situation. Hold him from long. Fasher has won this round. He can just fall back. He's done everything he needs to do now. Basically just has to hold. And Zek will get away with his life, though. At least it's a weapon save for Prophecy. It's some kind of silver linings. They needed something to help them out. 9 rounds for Endpoint. Essentially a role reversal with the scores you expect to see normally.
Exactly. Now, going to the final round of this first half. If this finishes, what, 10-5, Jack? This could be a very fast second game.
Well, it's going to be hard then. At that point, if we do see Endpoint obviously working their way through, we know how effective they can be in pistol rounds. They've got a lot of talent that is very, very effective with those sidearms. They can come in strong. You get that opening pistol off the back of what essentially could be a 10-round half.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The game's pretty much as good as done. You're looking at a 30-5 scoreline, 8-round advantage for Endpoint. And as you said, the game is as good as done. But then again, we're not over just yet. If this goes 9-6, complete role reversal essentially, where it could go 9-9. If this finishes 9-6, Prophecy win the second half pistol. Pistols go 1 for 1. We could very easily be looking at a 9-9 scoreline, and then going forward, it sets up the narrative as to how are Prophecy going to be faring on their T side.
However this shapes up off the back of this round, that pistol is going to be the true tale when it is this close to the half. So let's see how it will actually go. As right now, Endpoint still once again going back to their old default. As you can obviously see, the late round lurking, Max towards outside B, everyone else grouped up late, making their presence known, but not overextending in.
5 versus 5. Prophecy wielding a lack of firepower, but Gecko still makes it work. Man advantage now as he lands the second tag as well onto Thomas, but not before he gets tagged up as well by the ult from Thomas. 22 HP for Gecko, 50 for Thomas, and a man disadvantage for Endpoint, as it seems like they're going to be rejoining the ranks towards Mighty Max outside Monster, leaving Fasher alone towards the A side to try to cause havoc and cause a stir. and force rotations from Prophecy towards A. Will it work though?
Well, let's see if they are actually going to fall for this, or the penny will drop Thomas as well, negating Rockin as he comes in. Fashion with a double entry as well, as Gecko just re-peeks him. He's blown apart the defense towards the A site. The round is shut down. I mean, what really can they do? Prophecy, just one man left standing, speeding his way over towards close short to actually try and do something, but you're outnumbered so ridiculously. They can just hold an aggressive crossfire like this. They can try and go for hero plays. They're going to get a 10-5 half as they really look dominant there. This opening pistol round means so much to either team. It's essentially, if we see Prophecy pick it up, it's a lifeline. They can try and bring it back. They can get in the region of 8 rounds. They can actually be in a more respectable situation to try and fight back. If they lose it, Endpoint have essentially secured themselves victory.
Then again, Jack, how much stock can really invest into these pistol rounds? Because we saw how close the Force buys were. The CZs, the Deagles being so impactful into the early half, the early portion of this second matchup of the day.
It's true.
Nevertheless, though, 10-5 so far for Endpoint. They claim their pistol. They lost versus the Force buy, but eventually they won the battle of the Force buys, the battle of the rebuys, and they came out top trumps.
They did. They beat them. But let's see if they can carry on with this. Thomas as well, looking like he only started to wake up towards the last couple of rounds there of the half. Definitely not having as an explosive game as we expect to see.
A game which is filled with Force buys and pistols sounds like, you know, dream for Thomas.
This is what he loves. This is what he lives in, those sort of rounds. But just very, very quiet today. Not up to his old tricks at all.
Now, question is for Endpoint, do they try to switch anything up on this pistol? Do we see aggression towards middle? Are they going to go for a crazy, audacious pistol round? A lot of the pistols we're seeing now in the current meta for CS is 5-man pistols. G2 were doing it where they pushed 2 players towards A long, 3 players towards middle, and they came in from behind Monster. If the bomb was planted towards B, usually it's planted default, Jack, for Monster. So you come in from behind, the bombs are planted for the Ts, you have a massive advantage. But as it seems like it's going to be a very standard round coming up from Endpoint, as Stanley goes to the peak towards Monster, spots out 1 player, but Ming doesn't show the bomb, doesn't really show anything else, as we still wait for this one to unfold.
So they're just going to go for that classic execute towards the B site. Obviously, in terms of utility as well, Gecko only coming in, packing a Molotov and a smoke, but it's still something to try and aid them. It's more so going to rely on that raw firepower, and they actually do go for this push. Stanley as well needs to be vital in this scenario as he's close towards Monster, holding towards short as well. They're dubious of this true play.
And here it comes, the Molotov towards Barrel, the real play coming up from Prophecy. Can they try topple Stanley?
Oh, Stanley goes down as they actually find the entry, but Imi fires back as well. Fasher will fall, unfortunately. That's a big man to remove in this pistol round, as it's Imi, Thomas, and Max who actually try and make this work. They're sniping away, but to no real avail. Finally, Thomas will actually find a head, takes down Zek. It's Gecko, NK, and Rocking left in these post-plant positions. They just have to hold. They are being whittled down. There is damage being transferred towards them, but the headshot from Imi might actually be the saving grace. Now he's found that they can try and jump the bomb, try and force the issue. But Gecko comes in, swinging with the Glock, takes down Imi. It's all up to Mighty Max here. Bobbing and weaving between both angles. He's confused about this wall. Fine. Tap the bomb and go for the defuse. You can see they're not really allowed to do anything. Max just realizes it's gone way too far south there. Getting the opening pistol is the only way they stayed alive in this matchup, and Prophecy did grab it.
Yeah, 2 players playing towards CT lower from Endpoint, and that's Stanley on the site. Question is there for your Endpoint, are you trying to play for a retake? Are you trying to hold on to this site? Bit mismatched there. Nevertheless though, pistols go 1 for 1. Now we have the narrative of, can Prophecy bring this one back? 4-round deficit so far, but then again, they're going to be able to versus the pistols and the Force by coming from Endpoint. Imi only investing into a smoke and P250. He wants to bring the AWP out to the first buy round. Thomas goes for that mid peek, spots out one of the players, doesn't see the bomb just yet, so nothing's really been signified, telegraphed from Prophecy just yet. They're still holding, they're playing passive, they're playing the patient game as they hope for a push from Endpoint to walk into their grasps and give away the first kill and basically set everything else up.
Yeah, that's the thing, just playing the play against the anti-eco, run your default, just hold those long-range angles. You know that pistols are going to be effective in those close-range firefights, there's no point risking it. So it's a good read from Prophecy. I like the fact as well, actually not going for any investment into the SMGs here. They know they don't have a lifeline. There's no buffer. There's no safety net for them. So if they do actually get taken down and fall against Endpoint into this round, they wouldn't have a backup plan. So they have actually just gone for the full investment into rifles to just try and play with a range advantage rather than going for the economy builder.
Exactly right. At this point, it isn't about money, it's about rounds, and rounds are the commodity into the second half. Smoke comes out towards Monster, will delay the push, and Fasher as well. Located towards the B bomb site. He has another smoke. If he throws the smoke out with 20 seconds left, this could be a force by win for Endpoint. They have to push through the smoke, close quarters. But let's see, smoke comes out. No flashbang just yet. But let's see, 30 seconds left of the final smoke will be used, but Zek gets the first frag again onto Stanley.
Oh, this is where it comes in key that Fasher actually finds this frag. The timing so unfortunate, close, but no cigar, as he will go down as Rockin, with one final shot, takes him down, leaving it on just the 3 remaining players on that endpoint side. Imi, Mighty Max, and Thomas forced to save, essentially, as they did invest lightly. They got the PT-50s, you can see, basically broke across the board as well. It looks like they will just be holding on to those scouts.
Yeah, we're really hyping up a win there for Endpoint, where the smoke comes out, they have to force and follow themselves through Monster, but a smart decision was made by Prophecy to go back towards B short, have one player hold for the Monster push, where Fasher pushed through the smoke, and obviously Zek followed the first frag, the entry onto Stanley from Pillar once again, as we saw the pistol round. It will cement, round number 7, as they mount their second round comeback into this one, as it's going to be 7-10 as we head into round number 18, and only 3 rounds now separate these 2 teams. Likely scenario as well, Jackpot gets 2, as it's going to be the Ika coming out from a few of the players for Endpoint. Obviously, they did save the PT-50 onto Imi, the Scout for Thomas, and I believe there's a CZ or Deagle for Max, so they have something to work with into round number 18, but it's still unlikely.
Now then, what they have to work with, obviously a mixed bag of tools. You got the Scout still on Thomas and a CZ on Max with armor, the rest of them with no utility at all. So this should be a fast round. Prophecy, we assume they would get 8 off the back of the opening pistol, really lock it down consistency. And that should be the way it goes, as they're grouping up for more of that common default as well towards B early on.
Stack coming out towards the B bomb site from Endpoint. As obviously, Prophecy, are they going to double down towards B after how easy it was for them to just waltz over the site? And Simi, the first line of contact, does get the dink, and NK, what? 8 HP, doesn't go down. Stanley misses the shots as well, leaving it out to Max and Thomas.
Oh, Max, there might be potential. He gets 1, but he's only on 1 HP. This is where that chance goes quickly out the window. Oh, could be taken out by the spam, but barely stays alive as Max is just trying to keep moving around with his happy feet. Thomas as well, hunkered down in position with the Scout. But can he strike first? He can. Actually does find the headshot. Takes down Gecko. Maybe there's still something to play for in this round. Thomas can try and further this lead. It does work out. Max rotates as well, but Max only really effective for a 1 frag. A 1-and-done angle where he can strike first, maybe Snods, but he's too low to achieve anything else.
Thomas holding the headshot angle here, lands the tag, but it's not quite the full frag, and Max doesn't rotate towards the B side. Anticipated Prophecy to go back towards B. Unfortunately, it wasn't the latter. It was the first option. They went towards the A-bomb site. 8-10 as this game goes down to the wire. As after pistols go 1 for 1, we finally have a competitive game on our hands.
Yeah, Fasher as well. Into this next round, you can see 18 frags on the board. He was explosive over on that T side. Big constant 2Ks, clutch plays as well that were coming through. If we can see that actually go down their CT half when we see a reinvestment come out to him, when he does actually have a rifle in his hands, he could be incredible at actually changing this game around.
So can he change the course of this one? Guess we're about to find out. Is it going to go 10-8, and now we're starting to see the buy rounds. Prophecy, a very clean last round. Fairly clean this one as well, having 3 players survive. It's not the end of the world, as no players will die to that bomb exploding, as they were low. Nevertheless, 3 players surviving now for the side of Prophecy. That builds up the money to a scenario where even if Endpoint win the first buy round, Prophecy can still buy the rebuy, the counter buy back essentially with 5 AKs, an AWP, for utility. You can see $6,000 for NK, nearly 6K as well for Ming and Zek. So their money is soaring ahead right now versus Endpoints. But let's see what happens. Thomas with a good spawn towards, going to go for the peak. Ooh. Doesn't land the shot, doesn't land the tag, but gets information nevertheless.
Yeah, that's a shame. That could have been a massive opener if he actually would have found that. NK as well going for that consistent spam we've seen over towards the B-bomb site, just trying to tag anyone down if they are going for the early play. The boost, though, might actually catch them off guard, but
made noise.
They fail it. They should be aware of that audio cue, so there's no reason if they actually go for this peak. They should be holding the angle. Stanley is focusing towards it. Dinks him down, forces him back as well.
Rocking, he hears the reload come out. Ooh, and the duel versus Fasher, but unfortunately for Rocking, an instant trade frag comes up for Stan. 4 versus 4. As NK is fairly low. Kits for the city side, they have 1 more smoke left. No Molotovs, no flashbangs. Only a minute left here, Jack. So utility is heavily favored for Prophecy going forward, as the bomb is outside Monster. Zek towards Banana has 2 flashbangs, as they will go for the reboost. Max expects it.
Yeah, good to see Max still had that in his mind. Obviously didn't get confused and not suspect them to try and once again try and go for this play. Does force them back. No frags, but keeps them at bay for the meantime. Zek actually slowly making his approach towards A as well. if they kill him at A, they can fully rotate over. They can suspect this is actually going to be a true play. Actually, they're going off the read at the back of it. It seems like they're going to restructure this and go for a late round A take and work in from what Zek has called.
Towards A long. It's going to be Imi. Spots out one player. Swarmed by a second, but still finds that first frag onto Zek. 3 versus 4 as the real assault does follow suit. NK will find the frag onto the Orping Thomas. Imi tries to get a second and anchor onto the side, but unfortunately not quite sharp enough today, as it will be a 2 versus 3. Mighty Max rotates in, spots out the shoulder from Ming, and Ming is low.
Max, can he force the issue here? Can he somehow go huge as he's just going to be holding? You can see they're scared to peek right now. They're scared to death as the frags will be coming through. Gecko hopping and weaving as he wants to try and hit Max with a left hook, goes straight in, wants to try and land the uppercut, goes down as they take him down together. Stanley will strike back. He doesn't have a kit, but he can make his approach on the walls of the site, grabs one on the way as well to make his life easier, taps the bomb, trying to force the face. Look how low they are on that T side. If Stanley just goes for the full defuse here, he might actually be able to get away with the commit as well, as they are pushing back in, but Stanley has time to play with, gets the defuse and the kill! Stanley takes them down, and Endpoint get the round.
Nerves of steel from Stanley, as he looks cold as ice after claiming the 1 versus 2. He knows that Ming is low. When the player's low in the 1 versus 2, they're scared to peek.
Yeah.
So he utilizes that to his favor. He knows he's not going to go for the overface early on. He sticks the bomb, 5-second defuse, and he claims it. 11-8 now as Endpoint claim the very, very much needed first Byron, but then again, at a cost, only one player surviving, still sets up the same storyline of, can Prophecy reset the money? And if they do, this game could easily go 11-11.
I feel like right now what we're seeing as well, I'd actually like to see the AWP passed over to Imi and try and play that more laid-back style we normally see Imi bring to the table. Because Thomas is going for this constant aggressive faces nods, but we're just not really seeing it pay off.
Yeah, maybe Imi's not feeling confident with it, maybe Thomas is feeling confident with it, maybe he's saying, I can't hit with the rifle, let me use the AWP. He's on, what, 8 kills, and Thomas is someone who gets really affected by his frags on the scoreboard. It really does get to him. It's one of the reasons why, you know, he loves to push for the ecos.
Yeah.
It's that good feeling inside. Gets the hit.
Try to get himself hyped up, and that's the thing, when you can't actually get the momentum going, it does start to taper off very quickly. So Thomas, definitely not having as big of a show-stopping impact as we normally expect to see, but Fasher has stepped up for that massively and actually been able to do more than enough damage in these scenarios. Imi, with a contact face. Luckily, Thomas will be able to peek out. They trade it back and keep it. It's just a 1 kill for either side, but even then this favors the T's now as they push in a B, but not when Fasher's there holding the angle spammed away. He does get jumped over though. NK bounds over his head as he shows off his acrobatic skills, leaping and bounding in towards the bomb site. Mighty Max firing back as he gets that refrag, holds the angle as well. Zek coming in, sprinting towards him with a sniper rifle. Don dives around the angle, takes down Stanley, and he's ready for more. Wants to continue this absolute onslaught on the site. It's all up to Thomas. Can't redeem himself today. Goes down. Zek with a masterclass play there. They absolutely love it.
This is scary now for Endpoint. The reset has come to fruition. You can see the look on Jake's face. He's not happy, as he understands the pressure that Endpoint are going to be under going forward with the money being reset. It's going to be 9-11. They're going to be potentially forced to invest, and you can see a 4-man force buy going forward. Forces to Kevlar, Fasher buying the defuse kit, but nevertheless, 5 CZs. Imi obviously saving for the AWP, but Jack, this is going to go as long as Prophecy win versus the, the force buy, which they should on paper, but then again, what we've seen earlier on could change that. But likely scenario, Prophecy claim this one, 10-11. Endpoint are onto an eco, 11-11. And at that point, Endpoint with the second half momentum's really gone out the window. Who knows? This is really anyone's game, and this is only the 3rd time that Prophecy are getting close to 10 rounds.
This is pretty crazy. This is the thing. Prophecy, obviously, one of the reasons they're so far down the overall leaderboard is because, as you said, they couldn't get past 10 rounds. If you get 10 rounds, you get an additional point. You at least get a silver line to help you. But they were never able to do that. Finally, though, knowing that they've got nothing to lose, they're literally out of the tournament already, they're really showing off their A game. They're pulling out all the stops into this one. Let's see if it's going to work, though. Max on this close angle. He can be deadly as he gets one, but runs out of ammo. Couldn't actually arm himself to continue that damage, but Thomas steps it up a little bit. Bobbing and weaving with the CZ will be able to find one headshot on Zek, but that is all they claim. Prophecy will get the round that they deserved at that point. They work their way through, and it's still very, very close.
1 round now for Prophecy, as they're so close to equalising the scoreline. And if they do going forward, it literally is anyone's game. It's going to be the eco coming from Endpoint as predicted, so it's a very high chance this goes to 11-11. And an issue as well is the fact that Prophecy are the ones that are winning the rounds in the second half, which means they're the ones have the money in the bank ready to go. If Endpoint win a round, boom, they can instantly rebuy, go for the reset, just exactly what I was talking about, where it's so important to have the clean rounds versus the force buys versus the ecos. Then again, Thomas just chime in with one, just get the drive by P250 headshot. But unfortunately, a 4 versus 4 won't be enough here. As Ming just throws away and tries to disregard the AKs and just hold on to them, make sure that no one from Endpoint can pick them up and have a chance into this one.
Endpoint, they have to concede this round. They didn't go for the investments they knew they physically can't obviously have enough to play with. You can't try and force it even with just a quasi. You have to let this one slide, come back into the next round. But this means it is going to be an equal playing field. 11-11. An Endpoint now trying to strike back. We'll get one kill, but there's the response. 3 kills on that 10 as well. That is such a huge multi-kill in terms of the cash he has just made off that one play with the MAT 10.
Yeah, a lot of money. $2,400 to be precise, and that's nearly enough for an AK. Off the back of the quad kill with the MAC 10 versus the ecos. Nevertheless though, no more ecos in the cards. Now it's the buy rounds. What are we going to be witnessing from Endpoint? On the CT side as well, how do you dissect it? I mean, we're used to seeing Imi AWPing and now finally.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing the bread and butter of Endpoint. Imi on the AWP, Thomas on the rifle. Wow, they do have a defuse going to Mighty Max actually, so that is the silver lining here. As Imi goes for the peek down towards Monster, doesn't even see anyone just yet. As it will be the re-aggression towards B short. This is very smart from Endpoint, as long as they don't overface. But they're giving up so much control towards B.
Yeah, they have let them in, but Thomas can go for the late round backstab. They are set up to try and play the late round here. They're not set up for the early game. They're pushing their way through. No Molotov has been used towards close barrels as well, as they suspected it was clear. They do try and clear it anyway. Stanley somehow staying alive as he's just running his way through, playing the game. A Twister anyway goes down as NK with a flick as he breaks the neck of Fasha. Thomas as well falls short. It's just on Max and Imi. Can this duo somehow retake this site? Imi in the elevated angle. He has the high ground to try and aid him. The scope as well, as they'll zoom in and attempt to find these frags. He needs to punish someone. Gets a golden opportunity. Takes down NK. Him and Max can now work together. There's a retake on the cards, but Rocking's in the rear, and he rumbles against Mighty Max, toppling him and throwing the towel in at this point. They realize they basically have to save. Imi conceding this round. Prophecy will take the advantage.
12-11. Off the back of the reset for Endpoint, it's all fallen short. Again, Prophecy towards his B bomb, so they're finding so much success. Stanley does his best with the counter grenades. He spots the players coming out Monster. He goes for the flashbang. He delays them by 2 seconds. Smokes out towards barrel, delays them ever so further. And what's so crucial about delaying as well is it gives time for the rotation. Max and Imi can rotate from the A site, bring their firepower, bring their utility in towards the B site. The problem is the players were all dead by the time Imi and Co got there. Stanley goes down trying to make a play with a flashbang from Imi's flash from heaven. Doesn't work out. There's a double play from Thomas and Stanley towards, Thomas and Fasher towards B short. Again, they find one kill, but they go 1 for 2, leaving a 2 versus 3 in favor of Prophecy, where with the AWP, with the lack of utility as well, they couldn't quite conjure it up.
Here's the thing as well. It looks like they have actually gone for the pause over on the side of Endpoint as well, which is smart to do. More so because it now gives Imi enough time to actually talk about things that he's noticed, things that he wants to change, that he's not feeling comfortable with. I imagine that is going to be the call why they actually did see Thomas taken off the AWP, because it just wasn't really working out for them. Max is another player that is actually going to try and provide something. Max is actually someone that actually does get a lot of input from those sort of more weird rounds. And that's where then Jake will finally try and put his input from in terms of the fact that Jake, obviously, you don't tunnel vision in. When you're just playing CS in that sort of scenario, you're so focused in what's going on in the current round, whereas more so for Jake, he can over-understand what is going on from either side, read mistakes, read slight plays that have been potentially adapted where they could win rounds. And that's where he needs to try and give
He can be the judge's voice, right? He can see all 5 screens. He can say who's saying, you know, come on, this is out of order. You can't really be blaming other people. You didn't see it from their point of view. Sometimes you do get unlucky, shot through the smoke, or someone's blind, they kill you while they're flashed, and unlucky things do happen. And sometimes you need their voice to say, look, it wasn't his fault. Don't put all the blame on him. Recalibrate yourselves and try and come back into this one.
Yeah.
As they are still within touching distance, 12-11, as the AWP was saved from Imi. Can he play aggressive and get this first frag? As currently he's peeking towards Connector. But the bomb is by T-Spawn, as once again we've seen the double play off short from Endpoint.
The timing's in their favor. This does work for them. Just depends though. Flashbang goes over, they peak late. Stanley looking a little bit slow on the face there, so unfortunately Fasher falls. Thomas is well caught off guard. Imi tries to trade it, but Rockin just dismantles him so easily. And it's on Stanley and Mighty Max. Stanley basically needs to try and recover the AWP as well. If he does stay alive into this round, Rockin takes him down. 3 kills for Rockin. He looked like he was deserving of that first frag. The second kill, Imi needed to find that.
Yeah, missed the shot from the backer connector. As Max will hear the footsteps, Rockin is low. As they aren't actually pushing in towards Torres just yet. He has all the information he needs. Oh my goodness, Max is behind them.
Max could make a mockery of them as he gets one. Ready for the second. Mighty Max takes them down as he gets the follow-up frag on Zek. This is the play they needed. A 1v1, Rocking on 5 HP. If he just keeps out the CZ, they should know he's low. Someone should have called this. No reason to switch the AWP. Just play with the CZ in close range. You know where the bomb is. Max wins this every time as he takes him down. Mighty Max steps it up, brings it back as they equalize the scoreline 12-12.
Is that a big enough of a play now to bring Endpoint back into this one mentally? You can see, even though the scoreline is going to be reading 12-12, is that 1 versus 3 enough to rally the players behind such a big play from Mighty Max? An eco 1 versus 3.
Here's the thing as well, Fasher, he's actually started to taper down a little bit. Into this second half, he's only had 1 frag so far off the back of the half. He needs to try and get reinvigorated. He was such an impact force, such a big key player over on the first half. We need to see that. We know how dominant he normally can be on this CT side of the map. When he holds his angles, his raw just aim is the factor that makes him so differential. We need to see that come back through.
Let's see if it's going to be an Endpoint with a new spark of life, or conversely, how that impacts Prophecy. Obviously, we speak about mental fortitude for both of these teams, and obviously losing such a heavily favored round to yourself, and losing it when the game's so close, when you're so close to the finish line. Can they stay within this one, or will they mentally tap out, as they say? So, round number 10. Round number 10? Sorry. 1 minute 10 into round number 25, as it's going to be 12-12. Thomas is low. He was tagged up through the box towards the B-bomb site. As it will be 5 AKs coming in from Prophecy. No AWP yet for Ming. Will that signify an execution? An execute style play? As right now they will be walking outside Monster. Oh, this smoke. Okay, the smoke comes out from Monster with 50 seconds left. This means Prophecy can now line up their grenades scot-free.
Yeah. They can push out, get into those deeper angles to actually try and go for those plays. Gecko as well. He bypasses Max, so he's allowed to appear on the site. He gets free vision there. Imi's dubious. Imi should have called towards Max that he thinks something's afoot. He actually pushes out. Flashbang goes over because Imi actually didn't see him. He didn't go for the full extension. I thought Imi spotted him out, but instead he was setting up to flash for Max. This really puts a dampener on things. This is not the way it was supposed to go. NK with the double entry towards B as well. Not only did they get the round, but that's the reset.
2 resets for both the rounds that Endpoint have won in the CT half. And we set up the storyline as well, where the CT side defense is where you're favored. Endpoint, they made it over the line. They got 6 rounds, they got 7 rounds, they got 8, all the way up to double digits on their T side. And even then, Jack, how was that not enough? You have a 5-10 half, you lose the pistol, fair enough, but going to these buy rounds, they've only won 1. They had the CZ crazy 1 versus 3 from the Mighty Max himself, but apart from that, they've been reset both times, and they could be facing defeat here. But then again, already locked in for playoffs. Could you imagine if they weren't in playoffs and this was the game to send them out? That would have been a sight to be seen.
Could have been ridiculous. Obviously, Prophecy somehow at the end of their journey, end of their story, they want to make it a showstopper. They don't want to go out without a fight against Endpoint here. 13 rounds on the board. Endpoint stunted in terms of what they actually could bring to the table into this one. They don't really have too much firepower. You've got 3 CZs. If played in close angles, they can be effective. But being given that opportunity for free will definitely be a hard affair. Rockin as well going for the entry. If he actually just peeks round, there are 3 players there. They can trade, and Fasher should be able to find this frag as well on the peak. Fasher goes round, but unfortunately, the spray takes him down. Rockin with a double entry. It never should have gone down like that.
4 versus 3, make that a 4 versus 2 off the play towards the A site yet again from Gecko. As it will be Thomas and Mighty Max, no defuse killers. They are quite split up though, so there's a chance, but now that Thomas has gone down as well, the real play coming towards the A site, and Max is unaware that actually he's being played for a fool. There's the bomb. Actually, even the bomb doesn't really understand where he wants to go. Zek on his lonesome, rotating towards the B bomb site. Max, does he hear this? Does he know what's going on? The timing.
This is a horrible spot to be in. Max, as they try and cross. Max is getting tags off, finds the frag as well. That is the man carrying the bomb, but unfortunately an explosive play comes out of Rocking as he finds the headshot on the cross, the drive-by kill, as they get that next round. They're in such a fantastic spot now on the side of Prophecy. The pressure is going to be mounted so heavily on Endpoint. They need to try and change things now, and they physically can't. They have no cash into this round. They have to play for OT.
Yeah, I was about to say that. What are we going to be witnessing? Is Endpoint going to be investing into this one, try to force buy it back, go 14-13, try close to that 16-14? Or are they going to try and save and eco into this round, allow Prophecy to get to 15, and then from there try play for overtime, try win consecutively 3 rounds with the buy rounds for the remainder of the second half?
This is not like Endpoint that we are seeing today. Looking very different from their usual selves as the push will be coming through up towards that A site.
So, Prophecy mimicking exactly what Endpoint did in their force buys. As they rush up towards A long, Ming finds the first, Gecko chimes in as well. 5 versus 3, they're on eco, there's no real chance for Endpoint as they're going to be putting all their eggs in the basket of OT.
Yep, you have to hone your marksmanship skills though with those USPs, and they are able to find something as the response comes in, the retaliation. As they are making this a bit of a big affair on the side of Endpoint, they actually grab some weaponry as well. It's Thomas. These are the situations where normally you'd think he can deal some damage, but he's had a bit of a slow burner, tries to bring it back, will get one. Rocking trades him back, and they have match points secured. Meanwhile, for Endpoint, they need to win the next 3 rounds on the trot, back-to-back, to take it to overtime. That is their only potential chance now.
15-12. 3 match points now for Prophecy to claim this one. And this would be their second win of the whole season. This is only, Jack,
yeah,
the 3rd time Prophecy has ever had over 10 rounds. Crazy, crazy narrative that's been put forth right now, as it will be round number 28. Orb coming out from Imi, but no careful to back it up, so that might hinder his chance of playing aggressive. But speaking of playing aggressive, NK marches up towards short as he tries to make his mark towards the B-bomb site. But what he can do here as well, Jack, is he can listen and try and spell out where they are. But unfortunately, he listens, but unfortunately, just the sound of his own death.
That was actually a good read from Stan there as well, the pre-fire. Knew that he could have tried to go for the aggressive pick. Imi actually comes in with a headshot with the AWP as well, and Imi falls back. This is what I like, Imi as well. If we see him try and go for one of those plays, he's not going to get overzealous, overconfident. He knows his limits, so he will back off. They now actually have a 2-man lead into this round as well. Prophecy, with just the 3 musketeers remaining. Can they cause any havoc here? Can they try and unleash something upon a site? Max bounding around to try and jump in the elevated angle. Should have been heard. But Max actually might be able to play this off.
Let's see now. Max playing towards Banana. He is making noise with the jump spot. The thing is, though, Ming, same scenario we saw from Gecko, where Imi will fire the shot. Ming knows exactly where Mighty Max is. Easy frag has been found, but not before Imi silences him.
And this is Imi on the AWP as well. This is where Imi's at his best, as he's had incredible form recently with a weapon. Gets the 3K. That's the hat trick that he needed. You can see Jake starting to get a bit more pumped up as well, trying to reinvigorate them. They need to get some lifeline behind them. Some kind of fire, as they need to try and bring this back now. You've got 2 more chances. If you win these following 2 rounds, force it to overtime.
Nice shots coming out from Imi as well, as he anchors down on that A side and gives new life to Endpoint. Round number 29. Prophecy at 15. They went for the A play last round. Ming slips in through, finds their first frag onto Mighty Max, but unfortunately it's already a 5 versus 3. The likes of Imi and Co already found those entry frags. And what happens for Prophecy when they don't give away the first kill? When it's a 5 versus 5 and we see the same scenario, do the tides turn?
Short control coming through. So it looks like they have reformed their classic B onslaught. They want to try and bound their way in, kick down the doors, take the names, take site control. But let's see. Endpoint, they're going to want to contest this. They need to, as they have to lock this round down. It needs to be a flawless half for them now, but it's not going that way. Rocking with the entry, but Thomas with a trade. Luckily enough, the response from short as well. Through the smoke, a ton of damage is being done. Players are being afflicted across the board. Zek as well, the lurk, catches off Mighty Max, dismantles around. The nade comes in from Gecko and towards Thomas. It's all starting to fall apart. Stanley, he can be the lifeline here potentially, if he can find a couple of frags, but he's not alive anymore. It's all on Imi with the AWP. Couldn't land the shot. That will be Prophecy somehow getting their 2nd win of the season when they're already out of the tournament as they lock it down. Zek going for something a little bit spectacular there, but they have done the unthinkable. Not a team you expected them to be. Endpoint definitely a strong favourite, a contender to make it all the way to the grand final, and they get bested by Prophecy.
I mean, they say, you know, fear the man with nothing to lose, in the sense of Prophecy are playing with 0 pressure. They know they're out of the runnings for a chance of top 4 for the playoffs. So what they can do is try and diminish the chances or the hopes of the teams they're going to be facing. But then again, you know, Endpoint already booked their ticket, booked their slot into the playoffs. They were fighting for that seed, and the worrying scenario that could be coming up, Jack, is what happens if Endpoint get that reason first week draw.